Get it. Get it. Please skip this part if you don't want to hear about a traumatic experience with a weapon.
The card you're using isn't linked to an event club account.
Oh my God, dude. Jesus Christ. Hey, Maple. Hey guys, welcome back. We are currently back in Moab, Utah. I'm very excited. The dogs and I, we are fully packed up, ready to go camping. Truck's fueled up. I got diesel heater fuel. It's currently, let's see, I got dust over my dashboard. Currently 60 degrees and very sunny. I quite honestly don't know if I'm gonna use the heater tonight, but I just have it in case. The funny thing with me is I'm going camping literally right now and I don't even know where I'm gonna go. That's the good thing about Moab. You just open your phone, go to iOverlander and just go anywhere. I've not decided where I'm gonna go, but I'll do that in a few minutes. First things first, I gotta get my food. If you guys are ever in town, this place is called La Preferida. It is the best food you can get, period. It's Mexican food. I get the California burrito every time. It is amazing. I do a lot of group trips. Come here. I do a lot of group trips. Currently, in about 2 weeks, we have a group of 15 to 20 people with Land Cruisers coming to Moab. And we always go to this spot called La Preferida. Look it up, support them. I'm very excited right now. Oh my God, look at it. Oh my gosh. Got dog hair all over me. I've had this exact same burrito, probably, I don't know, like 50 times. And each time I have it, I'm impressed. So as I finish this burrito, Duncan and Maple are just sleeping back here. You are the cutest dog ever. Look at the ears. Oh. Duncan, you're so cute. I love you, buddy. Good boy. So very last second, something I always do. I just decided we are gonna go camping by Gemini Bridges and Canyonlands. There's a lot of BLM land there. Check out this view. It's incredible. This view is just like 1 minute out of town. Kind of insane. Oh my God, look at them. Look at them cuddling. Oh my gosh. Look at them cuddling. I love them so much. You guys are so cute. They are gonna be very excited. Where I'm gonna be taking them, there's just gonna be a lot of open land for them to run and play and take them on walks and hikes. And I gotta show you the view one more time. This is, if you've never been to Moab, Utah, it is incredible. This is the view you get basically like a minute out of town, and you can see a lot of it from town. You can go to just a simple gas station or grocery store and see these cliffs and rocks. It is insane. What's up, guys? Hi, you gotta get back. You gotta get back. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Go play. Oh, what's on your paw? Oh, okay, never mind. Sit. Sit. Wait. No. Sit. Okay. Good job. Hi. Nope, sit. You gotta wait. Good boy. Maple, that's Maple's. Okay, you got one too. Good job. Maple, good girl. Oh, don't lick the camera. So we just got to camp, found a really good spot with a lot of open space. There's not a single person around us within like 20 minutes. The views are not bad. You get the view of all the blue rocks up here from the sediment. One of my favorite spots. It's really quiet. Got a somewhat clean fire pit. Living in Washington State for so long, if the fire pit doesn't have any needles, it's clean to me. So to Washington standards, it's a very clean fire pit. And the dogs are just off leash back there. Hey, Duncan, Maple, come on, guys, let's go. Come on. Come here. Good girl. Come here. Oh, she's going. Hi, girl. Got some firewood I gotta throw next to the fire pit. I don't have too much organizing. I didn't overpack this time, surprisingly. So setting up camp is gonna be very easy. And look at these. These dogs. Hi. Can you sit? Hi. Go. Come here. Good girl. Sit. Wait. What's up? You guys are happy. Okay, give me some space. Hey. Duncan, I believe you have something of mine. Duncan, I need that for the fire. Buddy. Hey. Does anybody else's dog always steal the firewood? And good luck trying to get it back. This guy. Loves the sticks. No. So camp is all set up and the dogs just got done running for about like 40 minutes all over the place. They are covered in dirt and very tired, so I'm gonna let them chill for about an hour, and I think I'm gonna do the same too. Just gonna enjoy the view, read my book, and just relax for the next, I don't know. It's the nice thing about camping. You can just do whatever you want. Check this out. They're just gonna hang out and play with each other. I'm pretty excited for dinner. I bought a mini air fryer that I think is gonna completely change camping and traveling. It offers so many new different recipes you can make on top of just a stove or a fire pit. And for the power usage and the size, I think it's just perfect. Comparing to the typical 12-volt oven that a lot of Australian tours or world travelers and even 18-wheelers use, this is better in every way. And I'm very excited to show you guys, and tonight is gonna be a really fun recipe. But I'm gonna get back to reading. I'll check in with you guys later. Guys, relax. Chill. Get off. Wait. No, sit. Wait. Okay. Wait. Duncan, come on. Let's go. Sit. No. Wait. Good girl. Good girl. Maple, here. Maple, guys, don't, hey, let him go. Guys, Maple. Guys, look here. Maple, Maple. Hey. Sit, sit. Go boy. Come on. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Get it, get it, get it. Duncan, Maple, come on. Come on. So fast. Come on, come on, come on. Good girl. Good girl. You're supposed to bring the toy. Sit. Sit. Wait. Mm-mm. Hey. Come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Get it. Good boy. Come here, come here, come here. Come here. Sit. Off. Wait. No. Sit. Wait. Good job. Let's go. Good job. No, get the toy. They're learning here. Get the toy. Get the toy. Hey guys. They're not the best at retrieving it. Even though Duncan is a golden retriever. It's okay, he makes up for it for being cute. Wait. Let me pet you. Let me pet you. Come, Duncan, come. Sit. Wait. I'm gonna let you guys relax. Nope. Hey, Bubba. You gotta watch out. You gotta watch out. Hey. Hey. Gotta watch out. Go back. Guys, relax. You're getting dirt all in my boots. Guys. So tonight will be my first time making pizza at camp. In the past, I always wanted to get like one of those mini wood fire solo stove. I think it's like Uni Fire. I forgot the brand. I always wanted one because I love pizza and I do enjoy like making different meals that are not common at camp. My biggest issue with those is the size of those stoves. Like you couldn't compact them and they're huge, they're massive. And you'd have to carry all this extra fuel or wood pellets for the stove. Although I bet that does probably taste better. It's just a lot of hassle, a lot of space, requires a lot of effort. So now with this stove, it's a 2-piece by Ninja. I think it's called like the Ninja Crispy, but it's just 2 pieces. It's all glass. There's no plastic pieces inside, which is nice. You don't have to cook with plastic if anybody cares about that. Cool thing is it separates. Please ignore my dogs. They're going crazy, but it separates. This is what you cook it in. This is the heating source and the fan. This also serves as like an extra Tupperware, or you can what I do is I will store whatever in my drawers just to maximize my storage space, like my coffee setup just inside. And it serves as a Tupperware if you don't finish your food. The best part is it fits in my drawers. I don't have to carry like a rooftop storage container or a hitch carrier. It literally fits perfectly inside my drawer. I had to move some things around, but I'm very happy. I've cooked with this at home multiple times. Easily cooked pizza in this air fryer probably 5 times in the last 2 weeks. It's extremely easy and simple, and it tastes really good. But anyways, we're cooking pizza tonight. Keeping the pizza pretty simple tonight. It's just gonna be cheese, pepperoni, and last minute I bought some turkey sausage. I love I was gonna say I love sausage. I love pepperoni, sausage, and like vegetables on my pizza, but tonight it's just pepperoni and sausage. I'm trying to keep it easy. I'm not gonna be prepping, cleaning, cutting vegetables, and doing all that. The one thing I hope I don't regret, I'm kind of regretting, although there was a guy at the Maverick gas station I was at that grabbed this as I was getting the exact same salad. He told me they're really, really good, but this will be my first gas station salad. I don't know how I feel about that. I should have went to Moonflower. That's a grocery store in Moab, but gas station salad. I guess I've had it at Buc-ee's, but we'll see if I get sick or not. Hoping I don't. Honestly, I was just gonna use my cutting board to prep this on, but I might just do it in here. It's a little windy. Maybe the sides will prevent dirt and dust and sand from going in. Might just do that. So I bought this pizza crust at Moonflower. It's like a, I don't know what you'd call it. It's organic only, like a mini Whole Foods in Moab. And I love it. Normally when I eat pizza, I always feel really gross afterwards. Get really tired. The next day I just don't feel good. And with this crust and the cheese and all the ingredients I'm using, I don't feel anything. I just feel like I ate a normal meal. So I don't know what it is, the corn, the non-GMO, the organic part. I don't even know what part my body likes, but it tastes good and that's all I care about. So I think the plan right now is to just cook the crust for about a few minutes before I put everything else on there, just to get it at the right texture. But check this out. So we're at 100%. The AC output is currently 0. We are going to run this on the air fry mode for like 2 minutes. Maybe that'll be enough. Let's just say 3. And then we'll start that. So my Blue Eddy, I honestly don't remember what it's capable of. I think it was either 3,000 surge and 2,000 consistent output, but so this air fryer pulls about 1,500 watt hours. It sounds like a lot, but I promise you, you're only gonna be using it for like 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes max. If you're cooking something from raw, I could see myself cooking chicken or steak in there. Probably not steak, maybe chicken for sure. For like max 12 minutes. Quick math. That's about like 150 to 200 watt hours. And with my Blue Eddy sitting at 2,000, about 2,000 watt hours, 200 watt hours is just 10%. So if I just cook this one pizza in there for, which I believe it's gonna be 10 minutes, it's gonna drop down to 90%, maybe a little lower. And that is completely fine with me. Luckily with the power setup I have, it's no issue at all. I can make 1 or 2 or 3 meals a night. And the next morning, my solar panels will supplement the battery and bring it back to 100% by noon. Oh my gosh. And I am very happy I brought my diesel heater. Earlier it was sitting in the 70s and I just checked the weather app and it's gonna drop down to like 25 degrees tonight. I have camped in the past multiple times without a diesel heater in the single digits, but it's not enjoyable. So I am very looking forward to this fire, hanging out with my dogs and eating pizza. I did just put it in there for another 2 minutes. So we're about halfway through the second 2 minutes and my battery is at 96%. It should be like 95 by the time this is over. So there are 3 settings. There's re-crisp, air fry, and max crisp. And I'm just gonna take a wild guess and assume that that is the fan. I don't want the toppings to blow everywhere. So I'm just gonna start it off at re-crisp. I could be completely wrong. We'll find out. I'm gonna start at 1 minute just to get the cheese melted and the toppings. See how everything's flying around? I'm just trying to get the cheese melted with the toppings so that they don't just blow everywhere when I put on max crisp. I feel like that did the job. We're gonna go to air fry. We're gonna do 8 minutes. Start. Hoping it doesn't just fly around. Sweet. Awesome. I honestly didn't know if that was gonna work or not. Multiple times I've used this at home. I would just pop it in the microwave for like 30 seconds to get the cheese melted, but putting it on the lower setting did turn the fan down a little bit just so it doesn't blow everything to the corners. What are y'all doing? What are you guys doing? Got the fire started. I put more wood in the fire. It's really cold right now. But this spot's really nice. Hoping the wind kind of calms down, but with my luck, probably gonna get worse, but it's okay. Man, I love this view. I hope the camera picks it up, but wow. Maybe next time I'll cook it a little less, but I love this. But some people might think that's overcooked. It's probably on the overcooked side, but I actually do like pizza like that, so I'm happy. Once again, I did not bring a plate. And this time I have no excuse because I am staying at my apartment in Moab, which I have many plates. I even have a lot of camping plates, a lot of collapsible bowls that serve as a plate or bowl. But I got so excited to go camping that I forgot them. That should be enough. It is pretty chilly right now, so I want to eat this. Oh my God, that's gonna blow away. Man, that's really good. If you have access to an air fryer or can just buy this one, that literally just took me 2 minutes max to cook a pizza. Extremely easy and tastes amazing. Obviously, you can cook so many other things with this air fryer, but your first camp night with it should be pizza. Salad's actually not bad at all. The guy was right. I was more worried about like the condition of the lettuce, but it seems pretty fresh. Probably not the smartest idea to have the mic right next to my mouth as I eat. Sorry about that. Oh my God, that's perfect. I'm gonna put him at the end of my end of the pan. So I'm not too sure if I'm gonna leave this in the video, and I truly hope like the message I'm trying to send is taken the way I want it to be received. It's more of like a PSA, and I believe there are a few lessons that you can learn from my mistake that I made about 6 months ago. Camping, solo traveling, off-roading, hitting the most dispersed areas in the country and out of the country. It's extremely safe. Other than this like one incident, I have never had a single problem. I've met some of the best people I've ever met in my life through camping, traveling, and just stepping out of my comfort zone and just approaching people at off-road obstacles or while I'm out camping. It's honestly helped me a lot. This is going to turn into like a therapy session. I have been going back and forth many times in my own head whether I should talk about this for many reasons. I'm never the type of guy that wants people to feel sorry for or have any pity or make people worried about me, because it's really not that bad. But I also feel like there are pretty good lessons to learn from what happened to me. And I hope the 10 or so people that are actually watching this can take those lessons and understand that there are a lot of things that you can prevent. I'm not the type of guy that talks about I'm trying not to use the word traumatic. It's overused, and in my head it's just tied to look at me, feel sorry for me. But I don't think that's right. I can't think of another word that fits this conversation. But I guess, I'm not the type of guy that talks about traumatic experiences or even reaches out, which is not healthy. Some of my closest family members and friends don't even know about what I'm about to talk about. In the moment, I did post it on my Instagram story just because, as a pretty poor way of just having somebody ask me what happened, because I just wanted to tell somebody about it. Then I took it down after a few hours. So not many people, even like closest to me, even know about this. Whoa, watch your hair. Okay. Please skip this part if you don't want to hear about a traumatic experience with with a weapon. I hope I can use that word. YouTube, please don't take my video down. I will create in this video a section where you can just skip this entire story. You're gonna see me on my phone throughout this whole story just because I think the whole day for you to understand why certain things happen, why I was there, why I was going to the other location where another weapon was pointed at my direction. I feel like for the whole story, I do have to go through what was happening, why I was going in certain places. So I made a bunch of notes. It's many pages long. I don't want to read it word for word, but I will go through the whole thing. So long story short, I was out camping at one of my favorite camping grounds, and I had a guy just a few feet away from me point a gun at my head. And I had a lot of adrenaline rushing. I don't know what the proper chemical. I was in a state. When he pulled the gun at my head, I heard a click, and I'm just assuming he was taking the safety off. But for some reason, I just have a very, very vivid memory of, even though I was like 8-10 feet away from him, that click, like I had like superpowered hearing. Like it was just like I heard it go in slow motion. And normally being that far from somebody, you wouldn't hear that click, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty hard for me to talk about it. I understand that there are people in the military that have been in war, and police officers that I have the most respect for handle this stuff on a daily basis. But when it's something, I don't know how to explain it, but when it's something you would never expect in that moment for it to just come up, it really has like an impact on myself so far, long term. It's been 6 months. I try to block it out of my memory. That's how I handle things. I quite honestly, anything like severe like that happens to me, I completely block out of my memory. Never think about it, never talk about it, pretend like it never happened. Although it's still affecting me, I will completely forget about it. And last night, I decided before I go camping that I should create some notes, like just note down what actually happened, the whole story. And that took me 3 hours to do. And it made me realize how it is actually impacting me to this day. Before we get into it, even though I just said that, long story short, it was a crazy day. A lot of random like things came up that others would just say like a horrible luck day, but I don't want to say that. I don't think that way. It was just a really, really off day. I guess that's kind of bad luck. It was a surprising day. Put it in like the quickest, long story short, that guy pointed a gun at my head. Click, I guess the safety. And then 4 hours later, a dog that I was trying to rescue on the Navajo reservation was sleeping under my driver's seat, and I was in the driver's seat. So he was under the car, and he was shot at point blank range in the head. I saw the guy. I saw everything. I saw him step out of the car, shoot the dog. And quite honestly, the gun in my head obviously impacted me and currently impacts me, but the seeing that dog go through that is probably the worst for me. You're gonna see me on my phone throughout this whole story just because I think the whole day for you to understand why certain things happen, why I was there, why I was going to the other location where another weapon was pointed at my direction. I feel like for the whole story, I do have to go through what was happening, why I was going in certain places. So I made a bunch of notes. It's many pages long. I don't want to read it word for word, but I will go through the whole thing. This is a Red Bull, not a beer. Basically with this story, I really, really hope others can learn from it, learn from the mistakes I made, and hopefully prevent this, because I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I did. But yeah, if you spoke to anybody that knows me, my closest friends, my ex-girlfriends, they would probably jokingly and somewhat seriously say that like I'm like a paranoid individual. I never like to use that word paranoid. I'm just very protective when it comes to social settings, especially like going downtown, going to events, going to music festivals, going to simple things like filling up a gas tank or going to a restaurant. I'm the type of guy that, just realize I say I'm the type of guy a lot, but I'm the type of person that anywhere I'm at, no matter who I'm with or where I go, I'm always very aware of my surroundings. I'm very like hyper aware of who's there, how many people, are they doing anything weird? If they're doing what they're doing, I just got to remember what they're doing, because if this is like the thought process, I don't like actually say these words in my head, but it's just like automatic. Say like I'm at a gas station and some guy is messing with his lug nuts, and then I get back to what I'm doing, like pumping my gas tank. If I do see him in my peripheral that he's doing something very different, like say he's across the parking lot and now he's walking towards me or running towards me or doing something else, I already in my head know what he's doing and the areas he should be at, and if he does anything different, I will focus on him, or I will make sure he's not doing anything wrong. Hopefully this doesn't make me sound insane. Now that I say it out loud, I feel like probably gonna make people think I'm insane. I'm just very protective. I've lived in really big cities, and like for an example, I know exactly where to park, where not to park. I know how to leave my car to make it look like there's nothing inside. Even if they did look inside, there's nothing visible. So like I'm just very aware and cautious, I guess is the best word. Paranoid, sure, you can call that. You can call me paranoid. No matter like what I'm doing. Last night when I was trying to think about this whole situation, I was really just like questioning why I'm this way. And one thing that I believe had a major impact on why I'm always so aware, paranoid, protective, always like high situational awareness. I'm always like scoping out the areas and making sure I sit facing the entrance and exit, just so I can see anybody come in and go and make sure they're just normal people doing normal things. I believe is growing up in the early 2000s and having full access to the internet. I can't even say the things I saw, but I think everybody knows what's on the internet now and just can't even imagine what was on the internet back in the day 20 years ago with nobody governmenting or patrolling the internet. I've seen anything and everything you could ever imagine that could happen to a person, happen to somebody, happen to an animal. Whether somebody at school just talks about this one thing and then for the next week I'm just thinking about it and then I just Google what they're talking about and instantly really regret it. Or my brother and his older friends just like watching it in the room and talking about it or showing me. I've seen some things and it's just made me a very protective person that has high situational awareness. I guess I just said all of that when I could have just said I'm paranoid. This was about 6 months ago, and at the time I was living in Moab, working 3 jobs, 80 to 90 hours a week. Never, for like 4 months, I did not have any time to go camping or see any of my friends or do anything. And one of the jobs that I worked at, which will make sense to the ending of the story, it will connect everything. I worked at a local dog rescue, and that took up a lot of my time. I was working at the dog rescue and a restaurant and a coffee shop. There was finally my schedules aligned in a way where I actually had 2 days off in a row and I was super excited. So I planned this camping trip and I was really, really excited to go do it. My original plan for the 2 days was to just go camping close to Moab, honestly. I was actually gonna go to the area I'm at right now, which is kind of funny. I was gonna go camp for 2 nights and then the following morning that I worked, I would just go home, shower and go to work. But the day before, Moab had the worst flood in history. I think it's one of the worst floods in history. Millions of dollars of damage. Most roads were closed. The bridge in town was about a foot underwater, like the water was going over the bridge. If you've ever been in town, that bridge is like 20 feet or so higher than the creek, so the water rose a lot. People lost homes, cars were damaged. Fortunately, 2 people, a couple, father and mother, passed away. They're off-roading at Steel Bender. So it was a huge flood that happened the day before I was supposed to be off for 2 days. I got home from work around 5 p.m. after work, and I was so set on going camping, but I couldn't camp anywhere in Moab. All of Moab, everything was closed, flooded. It was dangerous. Like you couldn't drive to places where I'm at right now. Flash floods here are pretty severe. They are deadly. And that night, I just thought to myself when I got home from work, like what I should do. And at that time, I was in the market for the Bush Company the Bush Company 270 XT Max awning. I already committed to buying it. I just had to go pick it up, and I was gonna wait like a few weeks or a month to go drive down there and pick it up, but I thought to myself, this is the perfect time. I can go down to Chandler, Arizona from Moab. It's about an 8-hour drive, go pick up my awning, and then go camp somewhere around there. So I contacted the guy at Bush Company. Forgot his name, but I'll put it on the screen. Huge shout out to them. They're amazing in every way. Within like 30 minutes, I was able to confirm a pickup time for the following morning. And at the time, I didn't know that it was actually their off day. I feel horrible, but I'm also very thankful that they were willing to go into work on their off day. I didn't know that, but basically created an appointment to go pick it up the next morning. My plan was to drive to Chandler at like 3, 4 in the morning, get there, meet the guy at like 10 or 11, get the awning, wait for one of my friends that's local to Chandler to help me install the awning, and then go camping for 2 nights with my new awning that I've been wanting for months. Keep in mind, this is a peak summer. This was, I believe it was like 108 degrees, 110 degrees that day in Chandler. So the next morning, so that night I packed up, got ready for this trip. At like 3:30 in the morning, I started driving to Chandler, Arizona to go get this awning and then go camping. I got the awning, put it in the back of the truck. It took up nearly my entire bed platform in the back. This all adds up to all the details that are kind of important to the end of the story. So I had the awning in the back of the truck, taking up the entire bed platform, which affected how I store things in the truck and basically made it impossible for me to sleep inside the truck. So I had to use my rooftop tent that night. I couldn't just quickly sleep in the back and then get out. Waited for about an hour for my friend to get off from work, and then he got caught up and something happened and he couldn't make it. And at this time, I was stressing out because I didn't know what to do. It was 110 degrees. I couldn't idle my car with AC on. My truck would overheat in the Arizona summer. So the second he told me that it's going to take him an extra like 2 hours for him to come and help me, I just decided that I'm going to go camping with the awning inside the truck, just not use it this trip, just because I couldn't keep waiting in Chandler, Arizona. There's no shade. There's nowhere I can take my dogs indoors. We are basically driving in circles or sitting in the sun, and they were not liking it. It was getting a little too hot. They're overheating. It was just not good. So I decided to leave Chandler, Arizona. So I just drove from 3:30 in the morning, just drove 8 hours or so to Chandler, Arizona, and I decided to go camping in Sedona. I've never been to Sedona. I've only seen it from like 30 miles away camping, which will actually come later on in the story. So I was excited to go to Sedona. And this was after I left Moab because of a flash flood. So I drive 3 hours or so to Sedona. And I know this sounds unbelievable, but like literally the second I approached the city limits of Sedona, it started pouring down rain. These clouds came out of nowhere. It was raining really hard. And then literally 30 seconds later, I get these crazy sirens going off on my phone. I got like 4 notifications about a deadly flash flood. Immediately seek shelter above high ground, and I thought to myself, this can't be that bad. Let me just go to the grocery store for like 30 minutes and figure out what I'm going to do. Got to the Whole Foods in Sedona, and it was getting pretty crazy. The roads were flooded. The rain, you couldn't even step out of your car for like a second. Like the second you open the door, your entire interior of the car is wet. You couldn't do anything. So I just like thought, oh, my luck. I left Moab for a flash flood. I drove all this way to Sedona. So I just, at that moment, I bought what I needed from Whole Foods, got my groceries, and then again, decided to drive to my favorite camp spot I've ever been to. It's called Edge of the World, I believe. Top of the World or Edge of the World. I think Top of the World's Moab. This place is called Edge of the World in Flagstaff. So I just drove 8 hours to Chandler, 3 hours to Sedona, and then at that point, I couldn't camp anywhere around Sedona. So I decided to go to Flagstaff, which is about an hour and 20 away, to a campground that's actually right next to where they have the Overland Expo in Flagstaff. When I left Sedona, I'm going back and forth, I apologize. It was like 8 p.m. It was like 8:30 at night. I've been awake since 3:30. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I just want to go to camp and the next morning enjoy the view, because at night I couldn't see anything, obviously. So I drive to Flagstaff, and the BLM land that I was going to camp at is about 10 minutes from the expo on the same road, but you have to drive like an hour on the dirt roads to get to exactly where I wanted to go. And I was committed to doing that. But as I was driving, as I was like getting into Flagstaff and getting to the actual road I needed to get on the BLM land, I was exhausted. I was falling asleep as I was driving, and I was drinking energy drinks, throwing cold water on my face. Like I got to a point where I could not drive anymore. It was just like not safe. So I got to that BLM land about say like 10:30, 11. Don't quote me on the exact timings, but later on I do have exact timings because I have pictures and videos and phone call records and police reports. So I got there around like 10:30, 11. I was falling asleep at the wheel, way too tired, so I decided to just find a camp spot close to the highway, the main road, eat, sleep, and the next morning go to exactly where I want to go, to where I'll be able to spend basically the same amount of time except one night rather than 2 nights, and enjoy my time. So I decided to just camp close. something easy, like 10 minutes out off the highway. And I found this spot it was a BLM campground spot that was close to 4 other campers. There's 4 groups. So I pull into the left. My camp spot's here. The camp spot like on my side of the road that's closest to me, about 20 yards away from me. I noticed a very large group. I never thought anything of it. They were all partying, drinking, having fun. There was like 5 cars, multiple tents. They had those pop-up rain covers that you see at like farmers markets. I don't know the exact name for them. They were just all out going crazy, like not your typical campers. You can tell they go out like once a year. They take everything with them. They had projectors, they had speakers, they were screaming, shouting, going crazy. But in my head, I was like, well, but at least I'm safe because I'm close to other people. That was my my process that moment. I was probably extremely tired, and that's not the smartest move I made because that doesn't make sense to how I operate. I never thought too much of it. I just pulled in and I was like, oh, these guys will calm down, stop screaming, turn their music off or down eventually. I mean, it's like 11 o'clock, like they're gonna calm down in a minute. So I parked. I had to use my rooftop tent because I had the awning inside, so I had to do that. And everything I did, and like my normal routine for cooking is all simple, it's all accessible, but because of the awning, I had to move a lot of things around, so it created this whole, like, I had to pull things out of the truck, lay them on the ground. Basically, my setup time was much longer than normal. I ended up cooking dinner, and while I'm eating, I'm noticing that the 3 families, I believe it was 2 families and like 1 couple camping within like eye distance. Like I'm talking like the literally connecting camp spots. There are some trees in the way, but like they're right there across the road. I noticed that they're all getting upset. They're all looking at their tents and like putting their hands in the air and like annoyed that this group next to me is blasting music at 11:20 at night, nearly midnight. Obviously, I was upset. I was annoyed. Like, who does this? Like, if you're in the absolute middle of nowhere, I understand. But when you're camping next to all these other people at a campground that all the camp spots are very close to each other, like, what are you doing? I finished my dinner and I have everything out. My stove, my storage, my bags, my boxes, everything outside of the truck. I go to the rooftop tent and I'm still at that point hoping that they turn the music off, stop screaming, stop arguing, stop going crazy. And keep in mind, at this time, it was late at night. I did not realize, or I failed. I should have been more aware of who was in that group of people, what they looked like, and make some assumptions based off of how they present themselves. I know some people think that's wrong, but humans have been doing that since the beginning of time. In like 99.9% of situations, you could tell who's gonna do something bad based off their body posture, their face tattoos, the colors they're wearing. I mean, if they're on your side of the military or not. I mean, thinking of back in the old days. I didn't do that. I was too tired. I was exhausted. I believe that's why, because normally I would, but I didn't think of any of that. And I tried to sleep. I couldn't. And then as I was failing to sleep, one of the guys from the party, keep in mind they have 5 cars, goes to his car. It's like a Subaru WRX 4-door or whatever. Goes to his car, opens every door, turns the car on, and puts his music on like the highest volume possible. And this guy has subs. So his car is literally shaking, which is vibrating my tent, moving, like shaking my truck. Like, it's just insane. At this point, it's like 11:45, nearly midnight. And this guy, rather than turning off the music, decided to increase the volume by like 100x. So the second he did that, I was like thinking to myself, like, this cannot be real. Like, this guy's like has to be joking. There's no way somebody would think that's okay to do. And I couldn't sleep. This is after driving like 14, 15 hours in one day, sleeping 3 hours the night before. I was exhausted, tired. I look out my tent and I can see the other campers looking out their tents with flashlights, like upset, but for some reason not approaching them to just ask them, like, hey, can you guys please like turn it down? I could just tell that they wanted to, but maybe the people they were with, their wife, their children or whatever, like, was just telling them not to do it. When I look back, that's one of the lessons I'm trying to send out there. So in my head, my thought process, they're doing all of that. At the time, this is what I was thinking, is I can 100% just approach them very nicely, politely, just ask them like, hey guys, like, I'm sorry to be annoying. Can you guys turn the music down? In my head, there's like no escalation from there. That's it. They either do it or say they're going to do it and not do it, or say no, or whatever they do. Like, there's no, how can you escalate from someone being polite and asking you guys, hey, like, can you guys please do something? Obviously, when I look back at it now, if I connected all the dots and everything, I would have not thought that. So I climbed down my rooftop tent. My dogs are sleeping in the truck. Climb down, and I just think to myself, like, last second, like, what can I do to make my approach even less threatening? Even though all I'm doing is politely asking them to turn their music down. But again, this is like how my head thinks. At least that part was working, right? I decide to not bring Duncan because he's a big dog. Even though he's a golden retriever, at night, he's a 80-pound dog that some people don't like dogs. And at night, you could see a large dog. Doesn't even matter if it's like a poodle or a Malinois. They could be scared or threatened. So I leave Duncan in the truck, and I think to myself, I should bring Maple. Maple at the time was 5 months old, and she's still very tiny. But like at the time, she was smaller, fluffy hair. She was just like a puppy. And I was like, oh, like, let me approach them with Maple. And that way they 100% know from a distance as I walk to them, if they're looking at me or not, that like, I'm not doing anything weird. I'm walking my dog that has zero threat. And Maple, she couldn't do anything. So I get Maple, leave Duncan in the truck. I start walking I walk out of the driveway. Driveway to the camp spots are connected. Rather than just cutting right there, I can literally just throw a rock. That's how close they were. Rather than doing that, I walked out of the driveway and approached them from their driveway to show respect. And at this time, music's super loud. They got a movie going for a group that looked like they're kids. At the time, they weren't kids. Later found out. They're playing a movie for one group of 5 people, and the other 4 or 5 people are drinking under one of the rain tents, because it was raining at the time. Rain covers, whatever you call them, from farmers markets. So I'm approaching, music's super loud, and I get to a distance to where I don't want to go any further because I don't want to scare them. So I'm just like standing at a distance, like waving my hands, like, excuse me, hello, like, I'm just like very politely too, like, excuse me guys. One of the ladies hears me, sees me, and she starts approaching me. And then she gets to about like 15 feet away from me, and I just ask her, like, in the most polite way possible, I'm really sorry, like, word for word, this is what I said. I remember a lot of visuals from that night, and my memory from that night is very spot on for some things and others not really. I just tell her, like, hey, I'm really sorry for being annoying, extremely tired, I need to sleep, and I can't really sleep right now with all this music and the car speakers, just with all this music from the speakers and the car. Man, this is tough for me. I tell her that, and I just say I can't really sleep. Is there any way they could please turn the music down? I mentioned that, like, I don't want you guys to, like, I'm not trying to stop the party. Like, can you guys just turn it down a little bit? Like, I'm just trying to sleep. That's it. And at the end of me saying that, I start to, like, look around and get a visual of her, because it's dark at this time, but she was standing in the light. She was getting into the light as I was finishing saying that. And I see what she's wearing, her tattoos on her face. And then as I finish saying that and I'm noticing all this, I see 3 other guys stand up and, like, start approaching my direction in a very, like, aggressive manner. And when they got closer and closer, keep in mind, I'm about a car distance away from them, actually at the car that's playing all this music. And one of the guys turns the music off to talk to me. He's in the passenger side. He reaches in from the passenger door, turns the music off so he can hear what I'm saying. And then the 2 other guys are just standing, like arms up, like they're posting up, I guess is the right term. And the main guy, teardrop tattoos, fully tatted on the head, neck, body, all red, head to toe. He had the bandana on. All of his friends or brothers, I don't even know who they were, all wearing what in that moment looked like gang clothes. I was correct, because later on the police told me who they were. So the guy turns the music off and then does this over his hood and asked, I can't really say word for word what he said because there's a lot of curse words, but basically he just told me, what the hell do I want? And I told him I was just asking her if she could turn the music down. I'm trying to sleep, that's all. And then he said, word for word, he said, because this part's not curse words, he said, what are you going to do about it? And then, like, his 2 friends, like, do this, like, weird, like, pop their chest up as he says that. He told me, what are you going to do about it? And then I was just like, what do you mean? Like, what am I going to do about it? Like, I said it like that, like a, what are you talking about kind of thing? Like, I'm not going to do anything. Like, what do you mean? Like, what am I going to do about it? I told the guy, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just asking you guys to turn your music down. And then he responded again with, what are you going to do about it? And the second time he said that, I just like look to the right. I point at the family that's trying to sleep and all their lights are on, looking at their tent, like trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And I'm telling the guy, dude, there's families. There's like, point at like one campground and the other, like there's families trying to sleep right now. So at this point, I'm not looking directly at him. I'm pointing at the families and the different camp spots. And I'm saying there's families trying to sleep, and I'm trying to sleep right now. And as I look back at him, like as I turn back at him, I realized that when I was looking away and pointing at the families, he grabbed can't even say the word. He grabbed a weapon that with one like that, I don't know if I have to cut that out. He pulled a weapon out that could have ended my life with one muscle, I guess is a way to say it without YouTube banning me, or I don't know how that works. So when I look back at him, he has it pointed directly at my head. I'm about, say, 12 feet away from him. He's standing on the passenger door, front passenger. I'm standing a few feet away from the rear driver door, so at an angle, and he has it pointed right at my head. Immediately when I see that, put my hands up just to show that like I'm not like gonna make any quick movements. I'm not doing anything. I don't have anything. Put my hands up with my Maples still in my hand, the leash. So like when I did that, I kind of actually pulled her neck and she got really close to me. And I proceeded to walk backwards with my hands still in the air, like. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I said, "Are you serious?" in like a very panic way. Like, I couldn't believe that someone would pull a weapon, a blank, for somebody just asking them to turn their music down. Keep in mind at this time, I could not just run to my car and drive away. I had my tailgate open, I had Duncan inside, I had my rooftop tent open. I would have totally driven off with just the rooftop tent open, but it wasn't just that. This is like what I'm thinking as like the second, like a few seconds of just stepping backwards. Like I cannot run to my car. My driver's seat is filled with things. Like if I ran to my car, I would have to spend like 10, 15, 20 seconds minimum throwing things to the ground, getting Maple inside, closing the door in the back. In a perfect situation, I would assume that's like 15, 20, 25 seconds of just throwing things on the ground, not loading up, just being able to drive away. And there's no way I had even 5 seconds. This guy and his friends, the people he was with, blank with the weapon pointed directly at my head, started to proceed to follow me as I was stepping backwards. And because of how close my truck was to theirs, there was just no way of me getting in my car and leaving without the risk of them physically approaching me or using the weapon they had. So I made a split decision. Like all that went through my head as I'm just walking backwards. There's no way I can get to my car. I have to just walk away at a distance to where I can start running. So they're approaching me. I'm stepping backwards, but at a faster rate. And once I walked backwards at a distance to where I believed the gap, there was a very high chance that they would miss. When I got to that distance, I picked Maple up and I started to run rather than walking backwards. And after like a few steps, I realized they're running after me. They see that I'm not going to my car, not to my camp. They see that I'm running away, and they still proceed to chase me. And as I'm running, I keep in mind it's pouring rain, so my hands are wet. So I take my phone out, and I'm like freaking out with Maple in my hand. I'm trying to unlock my phone. My phone's not unlocking because my fingers are wet and it's raining. And as I'm running, I'm just like trying to dry my screen with my pants. I get my phone unlocked, and at this point, I'm like 30 yards away from the entrance to my camp spot. And by that, I mean like the pull-in. I finally get my phone unlocked as I'm running, and I have no service. When I look back and think about this, I'm like right now, I'm like, emotional, scared. I'm like in like a panic state right now. I'm freaking out right now. But in the moment, if I'm being honest with you, I hope this doesn't come off as like I'm a badass, because I'm not. This is actually the whole point of the story. I'm running away. I wasn't prepared. I could have prevented it by not approaching them. I wasn't freaking out. I was in this state of, I need to get away. So if I'm being honest with you, in that moment of me 30 yards distance, I was not scared. I just knew I had to keep doing what I'm doing. I need to keep running. My phone unlocked. I have no service. I'm kind of screwed, but I need to keep running. In that moment, I was not scared. But where I got really, really scared was about a minute later, like, I don't know, 50, 60, 80 yards, 100 yards more. I don't know. I'm just guessing on the distance, but I kept running. And in the dirt road, keep in mind it's pitch black. I don't have my flashlight. I don't have anything. I just have my phone. I just have my dog and my phone. My 10-pound dog. So I'm running, and I get to the part of the road where it turns left. So now I 100% know that they can't see me right now. And if they're chasing me, like they don't have the visual on me. So what I decided to do is so that road at that BLM land, one side is just flat, and there's trees everywhere. And the right side of me running towards the highway, it's a huge hill. Like, it just goes down. I decide to run down it, slip, fall, slide, completely cut up my legs, but I decide to go down it and hide, and hope and wait it out. Like, I don't know. I had really no plan, obviously. I was going to wait it out. I get to a point where I'm laying in the grass behind a bush. I pull out my phone, and by luck, by whatever thing you want to call it, I have a bar of service. I have like 1 bar of LTE. I honestly think it was 3G. I genuinely think it was like really bad 3G. 1 bar of 3G. And at that moment, Maple's freaking out, probably hurt from climbing down that hill. So I have like one hand over her mouth, letting her nose breathe so she doesn't bark or make a sound. I'm keeping her quiet. And I dial 911. At this point of the story, I'm 20 yards from the road, hiding behind a bush. No flashlight, no lights. I do have the light on my phone, but even if I did have a flashlight, I wouldn't be using it, honestly. I'm laying down in the dirt, in the mud, trying to keep my dog quiet with my hand over her mouth, letting her breathe from her nose, but holding her mouth because she was trying to bark and whine and cry. I'm sure she got a little hurt from running down the hill. At this point, I am full panic mode, like freaking out. Like, I couldn't even like hold my phone right. It was a lot of adrenaline. And as I mentioned, by luck, so I pull out my phone. After a few attempts, I unlock my phone because my hands are all wet. And by insane luck, I have 1 bar of 3G. I believe it was 3G. It was either 4G or 3G, but it was just 1 bar of service. I quickly dial 911. They answer on the first ring. She says her whole little, this is whatever department. Forgot like exactly what she said. Like, what can we do for you? Or what's the situation? Whatever. I tell her I'm camping in the middle of the forest on BLM land. I just ask somebody to turn their music down, and they pulled a gun on me. And there's 9 of them or 10 of them. I think I said 10, and there ended up being 9 people. I tell her that they pointed a gun in my head, and they chased me, and I'm currently hiding. And I have 1 bar of service, and my phone's at like 4%, 5%. No, she then asked me, what campground, where am I? I tell her, like in the moment, I'm just like, my head's spinning. I didn't know. I couldn't think of the name. I didn't even know what highway or road. I just knew Flagstaff. I'm in Flagstaff. Like, that's all I knew. I was just in that state of like, I couldn't even think. I couldn't speak properly. And she said, don't worry, I have your exact coordinates. I'm sending that over to the sheriff deputies, and I just made this whatever code. She did this alarm. I forgot the word she used, but there's this code, active weapon people. I can't say the word. Active, when there's an active threat with the weapon, there's a code. They have a name for it. She said she's going to alert that. It's going to alert every sheriff deputy on and off service in the entire area. So she told me she's doing that, and then she's going to transfer me to the lead sheriff that is on duty that second. So she transfers me over, and is telling me that she is alerting every sheriff deputy in the area that this is happening right now at this coordinate. Keep in mind, this place is like 10, 15 minutes from the Flagstaff Expo. So like wherever the sheriffs are located, I don't know where they're located, but like it is out of the city, and then you have to drive like 10, 15 minutes on the dirt road to get to where I'm at. So my hopes are not that high that they would get there before I would be found. She transfers me to the sheriff. He tells me he's already driving to the coordinates that he was just sent, and he has every other sheriff deputy meeting me there. But then he asked me some questions about who they were, what they were wearing, what they looked like, how big, how many of them, how many weapons. He's asking me all these questions. I'm answering them. And then he tells me, how far am I currently from where they are? I told him that they're chasing me up until that turn. I don't know if they're still trying to find me. But even if they went back to their camp spot, I'm still not that far from their camp spot. He told me that he needs me to get back onto the road and keep walking towards the highway away from them. He explains to me that in order for his deputies to do what they need to do, they need to speak to me and rescue me or take me in one of their cars at a distance to where the campers, the 9 people, cannot hear or see us. And I explained to him that if that's what I have to do, I'll do it right now. But I explained to him that my phone's at 3% now. He promises me that they're already on their way. They're going to be there. He told me to hang up, redial 911 if something changes, but to proceed to keep walking towards the highway away from these people. So phone call ends. In my head at that moment, I'm like, they're not going to be here for 30 minutes, like 30, 40 minutes. Like this is not going to be, they're not going to be here that soon. And at this time it is 12. The phone call started at 12:15. It was about a 3-minute phone call. Keep in mind, I forgot to mention that the entire phone call, I'm just like being really quiet, whispering and like not being loud. So that was at 12:15. Phone call ends about 3 minutes later. I climb my way with Maple back to the road and proceed to walk away from my car and towards the highway. The decision to leave Duncan in the car when I started running away really messes with me. I feel horrible about it. He means so much to me. And so at this point, I'm walking further away from Duncan, my truck, and those people, and towards the highway. And my head's just spinning. Like I just left my best friend, my dog. I left him behind. That sucked. It still sucks thinking about it. I was hoping that 1, they didn't even know I had another dog. 2, they would not even care to go to my truck because I'm the one running. They would follow me, not go to my car. Like the likelihood of them doing anything to him was very low. But at this point, there's no common sense thinking there. There's no critical thinking. Nothing made sense. So as I'm walking away from my truck towards the highway, I'm just like freaking out about Duncan. I need to go back to my car. What am I doing? Like I need to get away from the guys with the guns, but like my Duncan, like he's in the car. So the 911 call lasted about 3 minutes. So we're at 12:15 at midnight, or 12 a.m., whatever you want to call it, is when I called. It was about a 3-minute call. So we're at like 12:18, and I get back to the road and proceed jogging towards the highway until I saw a sheriff deputy. I keep jogging, and not even 5 minutes later, so we're 8 minutes from when I dialed 911 to now it's 8 minutes later, I see a car light approaching me. And I could tell it was a police car, just from the headlights, the bumpers, and all that. Like they didn't have their police lights on, but it was just a headlight. But like you can tell, most people can tell if it's a cop car or not. So I'd get in the middle of the road and just start waving and then put both my hands in the air with Maple next to me just to make it clear that I'm not the guy with the weapon. I am the person that called. So I'm just holding my hands in the air. He gets really close to me, steps out, and at that point I realize there is like 10 plus other cars behind him. He gets out, he confirms that I'm the one that called, and then radios into everybody else that this is the person that called. And the 11 other sheriff deputies, there was a total of 12 sheriff deputies. Like 4 of them were in their civilian cars, so I guess they just left their house, and they were wearing like just normal clothes, but they had all their equipment. He radios in that I'm the person that called, and they all turn their cars off, their lights off. They turn everything off, just pitch black. They all get out, and they all approach to the front where I'm at, speaking to the first sheriff deputy. And one guy was leading the entire group, and as he was asking me all the details of where are they, what does my car look like? What does their car look like? How many cars, how many people, asking every detail as much as possible for them to get a mental image of where they're going, who they're looking for, and what they're going to do when they get there. And as he's asking me these questions, all the other deputies are putting their equipment on, their weapons, the whole, the big ones. I can't say the word, but they're putting all those on, loading magazines, putting their flashlights on their heads, like they have a little tactical headlamp thing, and they confirm that it's just around the corner, but like they don't want to go to the wrong campground, you know? They end up just raiding the family next door. No. So like a minute goes by, there are all, so like 30 seconds of just questioning me and all of them putting their equipment on. They all group up, spend 20 seconds literally just planning, like, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're going to follow me, you're going to go to the left, you're going to the right. They plan the whole thing in like 30 seconds, and they all confirm they're ready. They get in their cars. They have me go to the last car, and the guy in charge gave the responsibility of like taking me to my truck and protecting me. I don't know why I put quotes on it. It's just weird to say. He gave one of the sheriffs an order to take me to my truck after they all get the situation handled, like get out of their cars, get all the people, and help me pack my truck up, because the sheriff was very aware that I couldn't just go to my car and drive off. I needed to spend like a few minutes like moving things around because of the awning in the back and folding my rooftop tent. So one of the sheriff's responsibilities was to do that, and he was at the end of the line. So we all get in the cars, and all the cars start driving forward with no lights on, just pitch black, because they want to have a surprise factor. In that moment, I don't know how else to explain it, but in that moment, there was no better feeling in the world, knowing that I am now able to get back to my truck, make sure my dog's okay, and get out. It was like the most comforting feeling that I am now able to go see Duncan and make sure he's okay. But at the same time, I still was very, very worried about the sheriff deputies. I could care less about anybody in that group, if I'm being honest with you. I don't care what happens to them. But the sheriff deputies that were on duty or just left their house sleeping with their family and their wife, like I was worried about them. I was really hoping nothing happened to them. So like I have these two mixed feelings going in. Like I'm very happy, but also like I'm praying that nothing happens to the police officers, the sheriff deputies. I have pictures and videos, like a very small amount of this whole thing. Quite honestly, I'm surprised I even got any, and I'll throw them on the screen. But all 12 cars start approaching their campground very quietly, very slowly, with all the lights off. And when they got within a very short distance, like synchronized all together at once, I guess they radioed it in. They all turned their headlights, their spotlights, every light they had. They turned everything on, floored it. Half of them drove through bushes and grass, obviously off the road, in order to get the best coverage with lights and cameras, I guess, of the people. And while this is this moment, the sheriff officer I'm with, we are about 10 car lengths away as the 11 other cars fully just like raided their campground. Lights on, they floored it. They nearly hit their cars. They jump out, weapons drawn, and screaming in the pouring rain to get on the ground. And I'm still in the car. I'm not allowed to get out until every person is counted for and area secure, as what the plan was. And I think it was 10 people total, but 8 of them quickly like get on the ground, like surrender. 2 of the guys start running, and about like 20 yards later, one of the guys just kind of gave up. He kind of like turned around and just laid on the ground. And one of the other guys, being chased by multiple sheriff deputies with weapons drawn, tripped and fell. And I guess he could have stood up and kept running, but he kind of gave up at that point too after he tripped. So at this point, they are screaming to lay on the ground and crawl backwards towards the sound of their voice. And it gets to a point where they have everybody in handcuffs. 2 of the people are already arrested. The 2 guys that ran immediately got arrested for running, and the other people were not in cuffs, but they weren't allowed to like get up off the ground. They were like told to sit in the rain. And at that point, when they had 2 people arrested and the rest like secure, the sheriff officer then drove to my truck and started helping me pack up. And at that point, like even though I got help, I'm just throwing everything in the back of the car. I'm literally just my dirty dishes, my food, just throwing everything in the car. Like I want to get out of here. And then he helps me pull the rooftop tent down, even though I guess I don't never need help, but in that moment I was just like not thinking right. Like I don't know. I'm going back and forth, but the first thing I did when I got to my car was just check on Duncan. He's still asleep. He was sleeping like nothing happened. And that was the biggest relief. But I get the truck loaded up, get my tent folded down, and at that moment I'm ready to leave. But the sheriff deputy that was with me told me to wait, and he went to go speak with the other people, the other sheriff deputies, about like, do I have to make a report? I mean, there was a report, but like, do I have to stay to like finalize the report? Do I have to do anything? Do I have to show pictures? Like, what do I have to do? And it was about like a minute of talking, and then he walks back to me, and as he's approaching me, I could tell that he had this facial expression like shocked, like he was worried. It seemed like he was really worried for me, and that freaked me out a lot. I was hoping he would like come back to me and like, hey, well, everything's good, and like you're good to go. Like I was expecting that, but he was really worried. And then he told me, like his first words were, "You need to get that blank out of here." And I'm just like, what's going on? I'm just like confused. Like obviously I'm leaving, but like, why are you telling it to me like this? And then he just told me that the two people that they're arresting and the rest of the family that's there are I don't want to say any names. I don't want to say any of the gang they're in, but they are notoriously known in that area by everybody and the sheriff department and just whatever. And the deputy told me that they are extremely well connected in the area, and they are not happy at all that I even made a phone call to the cops. He told me that they know what I look like, they know what I drive, and I have a very unique looking car. The sheriff deputy told me that he can't make me do anything, but if he was me, he would leave the state. So this is after 2 flash floods, 14 or so hours of driving. I was falling asleep at the wheel getting to the campground. All that happened, and now I have to get out of the state. I don't have to leave the campground. I don't have to move camp spots. I have to drive like 6, 7 hours out of the state. At that point, Flagstaff is like 6 or so hours from Moab. So I just started driving. I was hoping I could make it to Moab so I can just go to my house and go to sleep for however long. This is like my own therapy session. I don't tell anybody about anything like this. So when I look back at that moment, I'm pausing the story and I'm going to look back at the situation because there's even more after this. I had 2 incidences that night with a weapon. When I look back, I try not to be very negative about it. I try not to think like, why did I approach them? Why didn't I just leave? Why didn't I just ignore it? Why didn't I just try to sleep or drive away? Like I should have done that. I also should have been more aware of the type of people that were in that group. Yes, I was tired. Yes, it was pitch black. They did have lights on, but I still could have like if I just spent a minute or so just focusing in on like the situation, I could have easily acknowledged that I shouldn't approach them. I shouldn't be around them. I should just leave. To me, that's my biggest lesson from this situation is I should have been more aware and I should have never created that approach with them. And I hope you guys are never in a situation like this. But if you could use your best judgment to prevent something like this, and say if you're in the exact same situation or anything similar, like it's not even worth approaching people like this. When I say like this, I'm more meaning loud, obnoxious, drunk, yelling, screaming. Like this was all happening and I still approached them, let alone their outfits, their face tattoos, like ignoring all that, like even just how they're behaving. I should have never approached them. I've camped easily I lived on the road for 2 years straight, camping nearly every single night other than like maybe 10 days out of the year of like staying at a family member's house or an Airbnb. Like 99% of the time I was camping dispersed areas or mostly dispersed in some campgrounds. I've never had a bad incident with wildlife, with people, with anything. So I don't want to scare people away from camping and all this. I'm just really hoping y'all understand that this was one incident that happened out of the thousands of nights I've camped, and it could have been prevented. I made a mistake, and I hope you guys, anybody, the 10 or 15 people watching this, don't make the same mistake I did. Getting back to the story, because unfortunately it doesn't end there. Pretty crazy. So this is now like, I'm guessing at this point, like 12:50, close to 1 o'clock in the morning. So I get back on the highway, and I have this vivid memory, the time of I needed just to tell somebody what just happened. I needed to speak to somebody. I've never really had that urgent feeling, but I was in like a panic state, and I'm not the type of person to tell people anything as I make this video. But in that moment, I remember I was just at the roundabout in front of the Flagstaff Expo, which if you guys camp or overland or off-road, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. I just exited that roundabout, and I was going to cross the bridge to get to the gas station that's on the other side of the highway. And as I'm driving to the gas station to fill up and leave the state, I just had to tell somebody. I had to call somebody. I couldn't call my mom. I couldn't call my dad. I would never want them to even know about this, let alone like the worrying and all that they already have. I called my ex-girlfriend. We were still friends, and we kept in touch on a daily basis. I just called her because I knew she'd be up. It was like 3 a.m. her time, but she's crazy like me and stays up very late. So I knew that if I called her, she'd answer. I just called her and basically just told her what the heck just happened. I just had to get it out. I told her as I was like pumping my gas, because in my head I was like, I just want to tell somebody and also be on the phone, actively be on the phone with somebody while I'm stepping out of my car and pumping my gas after everything that just happened, because I'm just freaking out. Like if somebody approaches me or does something, like at least somebody over the phone knows something just happened. So I'm talking to her, pumping the gas, and I told her that my plan is to drive back to Moab, and I hang up the phone with her and I start driving back to Moab. And it was like one-ish in the morning. So this is where the story has another surprise for me. So if you've ever driven through New Mexico and Arizona, you know that it's like 90% native land. It's just reservations you're driving through. And I just GPS the quickest way back to Moab, and it forces you to drive through all the reservations. So I'm driving. It's now nearly 22 hours I've been up, and it gets to a point where it's just not safe for me to be driving, no matter how much caffeine I have. I'm just falling asleep on the road. I shouldn't be on the road at all. So this is like 3 hours later. So I'm about like an hour and a half from my house. I made it that far, and I realized like I literally need to pull over and sleep. Like I cannot keep driving. Pull out iOverlander, and I see that there's this camping spot that is behind a gas station. It's just like a parking lot that has all these crazy good high reviews of these world travelers and everybody, 18-wheelers, like they all go there. The gas station allows it, has this property, these lights, lets you park there. So I go there, I pull in, and as I'm pulling in, keep in mind this is the reservation where there's millions, literally hundreds of thousands of dogs just loose. And that was at a time when I worked at the dog rescue where we only worked on dogs and rescued dogs from the reservations. Like there's that many in need. So I'm pulling into the gas station, and I just see this dog with a broken leg sitting at the entrance of the gas station, and he gave me the saddest look. So I got out of my truck. I had some canned dog food. As I did working at the dog rescue, I had food and leashes and canned dog food and all these just in case I found any dogs that needed help. I can just be able to rescue them and take them back to the ranch. I get out. He's like the friendliest dog ever, wagging his tail, licking my hands, rubbing against me, like leaning on me, like putting all this trust in me. I feed him, and like he's just giving me this look of he's so happy that I'm like there taking care of him. And so this dog was covered in fleas and ticks anyways, but unfortunately Maple was being a little weird, like growling, most likely because it was nighttime. She was just being protective. Duncan didn't care at all. So I couldn't put the dog in my car. So my plan was to go park in the parking lot that's behind the gas station with like 30 other cars and leave the dog water and food, play with him. Keep in mind, it's now 3:30 in the morning. My plan was to take care of the dog, play with him, feed him, make sure he knows that like I'm here to help him, and the following morning take him back to Moab with me to the dog rescue. When I pulled into the parking spot after playing with him, he followed me. He kept following my car, and I pull into a good spot next to multiple Sprinter vans, like travelers. There was I remember a diesel Toyota pickup from like Argentina, had those Argentina plates. Like all these travelers, like it was just like a safe spot. It was just like made me feel good to know that like there's all these other people around me, and after what just happened, like I'm in a good spot. There are streetlights and people sleeping in their cars and trucks and vans within like a few feet of me. I remember the like exact time just because I took a picture of the dog right before I ended up going to sleep. It was like 3:20, not like it was 3:21 is when I took the picture, and then like a few minutes later I just fell asleep. I was that tired. The dog slept. So I'm parked. There's Sprinter vans next to me. There's the truck next to me. I'm parked right here, and there's about like 10 feet gap. There's like a car link between me and the next person, just because I didn't want to park that close to other people to annoy them by the sound of me pulling in, pulling out. and parking and all that. So it's 3:21. The dog is sleeping. I did not use my rooftop tent. I was too tired to get up there and climb. So I decided to literally sleep in my driver's seat. I was that tired. So I'm sleeping in my driver's seat. Duncan and Maple are in the back, sleeping against the awning that I have inside. And the dog is sleeping directly below me, like under the truck below me, right where I left his treats, his food, his water, and I fall asleep. Not even a few minutes later, like I just remember falling asleep and then hearing the sound of a car pull up, and remember I just fell asleep after being awake for however long and had that experience in Flagstaff. So I was so out of it. But I heard the car approach, and the reason why I believe I immediately got worried is the car lights were hitting me directly into the driver's seat. And with how the cars were parking, there's no reason why a car should approach at that angle. So I hear and see them, like the car pull up. I hear the car going to park. And then at this time, I'm like half awake, like wondering what's going on. I think this part of the story is what really gets me more than what just previously happened in Flagstaff. I know it's not cool to, as a guy, to show emotions and all that, but I could care less. So this guy in his, what looked like a older Jeep Cherokee SUV kind of car, pulled up, put his window down, and at this moment I'm barely awake, rubbing my eyes, like trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And from my driver's seat, I look forward and look at the guy. He puts his window down, and he whistles and does this to the dog. And the dog gets up from under my car, starts to approach the man. Keep in mind the guy is still in his driver's seat. And he leans out of the window. I don't even know how to say it without being too graphic to the people watching this and listening to this. But this guy uses his weapon. I think I'm sure you can assume what kind of weapon. Uses it, hits the dog directly in the head. The dog that I just spent like 30 minutes taking care of, playing with, and looking forward to taking back to my work to rehome and find a better life for, just got hit in the head. And when that happened, the sounds the dog was making, I don't think I'll ever forget. I hope I do, but as of now, I don't think it's gonna go away from my memories. The guy did that and just drove off really fast. And because of the actual use of the weapon and visually seeing everything, unlike the other situation a few hours ago, I still can't believe this happened at all, let alone in one night. This was the most panic, I don't even know what the right word, moment I've ever had in my life. My immediate thought was the dog is a loss. There's nothing I can do. It's gone. He's gone. And I immediately wanted to find this guy. That was just my initial thought. The panic I was having, I was just being honest with you guys. I mean, some guys I know don't want to talk, be like, oh yeah, in those moments I'm collective, calm, and whatever, but I was panicking. It took me like 4 attempts just to put my key in the ignition. I couldn't even I was like half awake too. Like I kept missing and like not doing it right. And so like after the 4th or 5th attempt, I finally got my truck on, floored it in reverse, put it in drive, and I just started trying to find where that guy went. And like, again, what are the chances? I'm literally pulling out of the gas station and I see that car driving off. And as I'm about to pull out of the gas station, I'm freaking out. I just drove over 2 curbs just to, I'm just going crazy. I see a police officer pulling in. It's a native reservation police officer. And I put my window down and again, hands up, just I'm not, because I was really fast, trying to get his attention, but I didn't want to show him that I'm going to do anything. He puts his window down and I tell the police officer, the car that just left just did what he did. And I swear on my mom's life, he looks at me in the eyes and says, yeah, that's what they do. A native police officer tells me, yes, this is what they do for fun. They go out drinking and look for dogs. That was his response. Not, who was it, what's their license plate, what direction are they going. He didn't even care. He literally said that to me and just like pulled his phone out and then mentioned that like his shift is over and he's actually going to change cars to his personal car and go home. I'm just like, what the heck? So it's now 3:25 in the morning and the cop is basically blowing me off. For some reason, I decide I need to find this guy. I need to find where he lives. I need to know who he is. I need to know exactly like where he's going. And by that time, he's already far away. And this is again another mistake I made that night where I try to find the guy. I'm going like 90, 100 miles per hour, have all my fog lights, my brights, my every light on. Like I'm just like searching, going to fields, doing a whole 360 to like scope the area and make sure like he didn't just park anywhere. And I was just trying to search for him. And like when I look back at it, it's such a dumb mistake. Like why? What am I gonna do? At that time, I didn't have anything to protect myself. Like what am I gonna do if I find him? I have bear spray. Like what? Like, this guy just used his weapon. I should be trying to secure myself and my two dogs and get away from somebody like that, not search for them, especially after what just happened in Flagstaff. And here I am, right after that, looking for the guy. I spent about 50 minutes, 45 minutes going through all these random neighborhoods, these trailer parks, just looking for something that looked like a Jeep Cherokee or a guy that was drunk and driving. I recommend not to do that. I don't recommend trying to be that hero, trying to find that person, find that somebody. As much as you want them to be responsible for their actions of what this guy did, this guy is clearly drunk and has a weapon on him. Do not do what I did. It's stupid. To finish this long story that is going to be, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. I just like spent most of my camp night talking about this. To finish the story, after 45, 50 minutes of trying to look for him, I just gave up and decided to drive back to home. I made it back to Moab at like 5:30 in the morning or so. So literally 24 hours of just driving and these crazy experiences. I got home, got my dogs inside, and fell asleep just hugging both of them. And we slept till like late in the afternoon. I just was so tired and stressed, I just fell asleep for nearly the entire day. So out of those two incidences, situations, or whatever you want to call them, I made a lot of mistakes. Wish I never did. And I hope you guys understand that a lot of the things that happened that day could have been prevented or changed if I didn't do certain things. Like with the first one in Flagstaff being, I should have been more aware of my surroundings, the situation, and never approach the people. If it's near midnight, they're drinking, you don't know how many drugs or drinks they've had. You don't know what they're on. You don't know how crazy they are. You don't know what they have. Do not approach people, especially when you have no cell service at night. And do not do what I did by asking them to turn their music down, even though in the moment I thought there's no harm in that. But if somebody's crazy, on drugs, drinking heavily, like clearly somebody asking you to turn your music down is an offensive thing to do. It's escalating. It's whatever you want to call it. I doubt anything like this would ever happen in an actual campground, purely because there are people looking after the campground and you have to use your information to sign up, to reserve, to pay. So I feel like dispersed areas are more known for, like when I say dispersed, BLM is more known for attracting people that have felonies or warrants. So maybe use your best judgment and don't camp by other people that show signs of recklessness. The music, the drinking, the screaming, the car stereos, the teardrop tattoos, the colors they're wearing, like these were all red flags that I completely ignored. Man, this is a very depressing video. And with the second incident, I do have my regrets I think about it a lot, of not taking that dog that minute and putting it in my car rather than letting it sleep outside. I know I shouldn't think about it too much, but I do. That dog would have never been killed if it was inside of my car. He wouldn't have been a target. The guy wouldn't even know I had another dog. I personally regret that, but the lesson in this situation is don't chase somebody that has a weapon, no matter what you think you're going to do, or it's just asking for more trouble. I'm glad I didn't know where he went. I'm glad I lost him. I'm glad all that happened because who knows what could have happened if I did find the guy who's drunk with a gun. Like who knows what else could have happened. Do I wish I knew who did it? Obviously. But that risk, that moment of getting his license plate or approaching him is way too high for my safety and my dogs, and I missed that. I failed. I should have never tried to find him. that night, that day, those experiences had a pretty large impact on me and how I camp, how I do most things. I couldn't camp for like 2 months after that. I didn't want to go out anywhere with no cell service and basically be helpless in a situation like that. Even though the odds of that ever happening again are so small, I didn't camp for months. Hey, girl. Yeah, it really messed with my head. I'll try to stop talking about this and end this story and get back to camping. But yeah, I hope you guys never have to go through anything like that. And if you do, hopefully you hearing about what happened to me and the story and what I failed to do and what my mistakes were. I hope you can make the right decisions to prevent and end those interactions and remove yourself from the scenarios. It took me a few months to get back into camping, and quite honestly, that first time I went back to camping, I was super paranoid the whole time. Any sound, anything, I was just looking over my shoulders left and right, and it wasn't the best experience, but I'm glad I did it because then it got me back into being comfortable with getting back out to places like this, having fun with my dogs, looking at all the stars, enjoying my time. Obviously, right now I'm just talking about this traumatic experience. I hate that word. Yeah, it wasn't until I got back out for the first time to make myself feel more comfortable. Oh, I love you. I love you. And now I'm just more cautious. I'm prepared. Okay, that's my mouth. You just put your tongue in my mouth. Thank you. I'm more cautious with the areas I camp in, areas I drive in, and I'm also prepared now with what I need to properly protect myself. It's not just bear spray, although that might help in some situations, but a lot of you need more than that. Don't want to talk too much about that because you can't really talk about that on here. I'm a lot better, I feel better, and I'm more prepared for situations, and I hope y'all can take something out of this story and make better decisions, prevent things, and be more prepared than I was. I had nothing. I didn't have service, I didn't have a satellite phone, I didn't have anything to protect myself, I didn't have anything on me. And when you are in those situations where you know you could have prepared yourself a little better, but you didn't, it's the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling to know that you could have easily made a different decision or brought something with you, can't really say the word, that could have protected you, your family, your loved ones, your dogs, your kids, your whatever. This will be the first and last time I ever mention anything about that day. I don't want to keep talking about it. I don't want to bring it up again. I just want to move on. The final thing I'll mention, you can speak to anybody within the four corners. That's Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. Everybody that most people know, absolutely do not at all in any circumstance drive through the native reservations at night. I know some people are going to take that wrong, or you can twist what I'm saying and make it sound racist, or whatever, just make it sound really bad. But if you just use simple critical thinking, it's very dangerous. Look at stories, ask people, look at the statistics. It is extremely dangerous at night. They don't go through the normal federal laws. They have their own policing, their own judicial system, they have their own everything. On top of being extremely dangerous, you don't have access to like the sheriff deputies I had in Flagstaff that arrived within minutes, fully prepared, fully with weapons and everything, ready to protect me, my dogs, my property, and remove me from the scenario. You don't have that on the native reservations. Everybody I know that has ever been through native reservations has a story, and it's never good stories. Like I said, I worked at a dog rescue that only worked on the reservations, and the type of stories and cases we had were dogs being, can't even say the word, they used a weapon on the dog for fun, half alive, dismembered, purposely run over for fun, for a drinking game. All of that to robbing, stabbings. I can't talk about the things on the YouTube channel. But if you ever are driving through the U.S., drive through the reservations during the day. If your car breaks down, do everything you possibly can to get off that land. Whether you have to pay a crazy tow bill, just get off, get out of there. It's not safe. I no longer drive there at night. I have to always drive through. I used to always be a big fan of driving at night to camp spots, to viewpoints, to off-road spots. I no longer do that through the reservations, and if I do, it's during the day. I actually found this one on the reservation, Maple. She was one of the dogs I found. Found her abandoned, half dead, and now she's healthy, cute, very loving. Okay. You want to give me kisses? I know. Here, you can get up here. But yeah, if anybody actually sat through that story, I appreciate it. I just had to get it out, get it off my chest. And I thought it was a valuable lesson, I think, I hope it is, for others that can prevent things like that. I love you. Oh, man. Okay. Hey, Maple, I love you. I'm no longer going to talk about all this sad stuff. It's done. Let's go camping. You want to go back to the car? Maple, Duncan, you get so jealous. But yeah, that's a wrap. It's getting pretty cold right now. I'm gonna turn the diesel heater on. It's about, what time is it? It's only 8:55. There's so many stars out. I'm gonna get back to the truck. It's getting pretty late, and oh yeah, it's getting pretty late and pretty cold. I'm gonna go ahead and start the diesel heater. I gotta move the dogs because the exhaust is pointing right at their face. Come here. He just died on me. I wonder why. Let's see. Weird. My Blue Eddy is making all these sounds. I don't know if you can hear that, but the Blue Eddy is making some odd sounds right now. The watt-hour pull is pretty normal for the startup. It starts at like 120, 110, and then eventually once it starts, the diesel engine starts kicking in, jumps to like 200. Not sure why it's making that sound. There we go. Engine's running now. Still like a 120 pull. Crap. I don't know if you can see the smoke, but it just died and it is smoking a lot. Oh no, I don't know why I'm even recording this, but I'm gonna get that away from my truck. Oh. Well, not sure what to do. I don't think it's worth the risk at all to even use that tonight. That was smoking a lot from the inside. I don't know what to do. One thing I for sure know is not to even attempt to turn that back on. It worked perfectly fine last time. Since then, it's been sitting for about 2 weeks, and then I refueled it this morning. That's all I've done. I turned it on just like normal. The first time I turned it on, the Blue Eddy was like freaking out. It was making a weird sound, and then the diesel heater turned on, and then it just died. So I turned it back on. It started to turn on, and then I noticed all that smoke coming out. That was coming out from the inside, not the exhaust. That was the inside of the actual diesel heater with all the wires and tubing for the fuel. If I had to take a wild guess, I'm assuming one of the lines for the fuel is loose or broke, on the inside, and then it leaked fuel and started smoking. I don't know if I could inspect it and fix it right now. I don't think it's worth it. It is pretty cold. It's like 30 degrees, and I was just about to go up to the rooftop tent and lay down with my dogs in the heat. Change of plans though. Gotta get all the dirt off you. Oh my God. Okay, come on. Dude, the view of the stars are incredible. Wow. There you go. Wait there. Come here. Wait, no. No, you're not going up there. Come here. Come here. Get up. Good job. So the dogs are in the rooftop tent. Duncan's just peeking out. I threw him up there while I'm figuring out the diesel heater situation. So it's currently running. That is the normal sound it makes, the exhaust. There's no dark clouds coming from the exhaust, which is normal. The smoke coming out of that was extremely concerning. I wouldn't have attempted to restart it if it wasn't for the code I just saw on the Blue Eddy a few minutes ago, which made me believe that it's the Blue Eddy acting up, which cut off the engine in the diesel heater. The smoke, I assume, was part of that. I'm just glad there's not a fire. I did move it as far away as possible. I'm gonna pull it out even further when I get back in the tent. Ooh, that's pretty hot, nice. It's running fine, and the Blue Eddy is pulling at a normal watt hour for the diesel heater. So it seems like everything is okay. I'm gonna keep my eye on it tonight. I have no idea why that happened. The Blue Eddy has been running for 2 months straight. Maybe it just had like a system glitch, not sure. So as I was closing all the doors, making sure the diesel heater was running fine, which it is, somebody, this one who looks very innocent, decided to pee on my very expensive down blanket that you are only supposed to wash like every other year. I know that sounds gross, but it's real down. You're supposed to hand wash it and not run it, but that's gonna need a good wash in the laundromat. Come here, sit down. I really hope that my diesel heater or my Blue Eddy does not fail on me tonight. I don't pack a sleeping bag. I only pack that blanket I use all the time. It's extremely comfortable and very warm, but Maple decided to pee on it. I don't understand why she did that. She's been house trained and potty trained since she was a puppy. She's never made a mistake in the house since her first week after staying with me. But, oh well. I'll wash that blanket tomorrow when I get back to town. I'm gonna go use a laundromat for that because that's disgusting. All because of this girl. Such a brat. It's getting pretty late right now, and I'm gonna try to get some rest. I'll see you guys in the morning. Come on. Drop it. Let me see. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. All right, let go. Let go. Off. Oh my gosh. Get it, get it. Sit. Okay. So last night was interesting to say the least. Y'all saw what Maple did within like 2 minutes of getting into the rooftop tent. So I lost my blanket. I have no sleeping bag, and the diesel heater failed within like an hour and a half. So last night all I had was this coat. Of course I'm wearing shorts. Probably not the smartest move. We ended up just cuddling together, and it was okay. Definitely was not as comfortable as having a diesel heater working or a blanket that is not covered in Maple's whatever you want to call it. But honestly, other than that, we slept great, and this weather today, check this out, is incredible. Nice, sunny, warm. Funny thing, I just realized what that is right there. I recognized it, but I didn't know I was that close. That's Arches National Park. The arches are on the other side of the rocks you see. This is the back end of Arches. The other side of that is what people wait 4, 5, 6 hours in line in the summertime, which I don't understand how people can do that. You guys are all tangled up. Hey, we're tangled up. Come here. Come here. Oh my God. Get off, get off. Get off. Get off, get off. Crazy. Thank you guys for watching. This video was very different than any of my normal uploads. I felt like I had to explain why I didn't post or go camping for such a long period of time. If you guys watched it, I appreciate it. I hope that some of you learned from my mistake and prevent what could have been prevented, because quite honestly, camping, traveling, solo, doing whatever you want, female, male, it's extremely safe. I just personally that day made a mistake on top of just being exhausted and all that. Anyways, I'm gonna start camping and traveling and uploading like normal. If you'll have any questions or have any tips, please let me know. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.